or the Detroit Lions sign a defensive end, more of a just kind of hedge your bet type of move. And I like it. I like it. So let's get right into it. Plus, we're going to look at the top defensive ends in this draft to go with this guy. So the Detroit Lions re-signed Davenport. Now, here's two things to take away from it. They get him for up to $4.75 million. So that's the absolute most he can make, incentives. So I think this is like a 3-year deal or a $3 million deal, something like that. I mean, it's as cheap as you can get. He's got injury history. We all know that. So we get him for really cheap. Second thing is he's 28 years old. He only played 2 games last year. These are all bad things. Like, he's older, he's injury prone, but we get him for cheap. And the thing is, he has no stats really from last year or even the year before. He's been injured so much. But when he was out there, and again, let me know in the comments. Yes, fine. Just let me know in the comments. Like, yeah, whatever. If he plays, he plays. If he doesn't, he doesn't, type of a move. But when he was out there, he did exactly what the Lions coaches said that he was going to do. If you can get a guy like that can bull rush, that can condense the pocket, that allows Hutch and other guys to go to work, and we expect that. And that is exactly what he did. So again, no stats, but all I know is when he was out there and you saw it with your own eyes, you're like, dude, this guy's like, he's crazy. He's 6'6", 265, and he was, remember, that's when we learned the phrase crushing the can. You're like, oh yeah, I guess that's what he's doing. He's crushing the pocket. I don't know. And it was like, this is unbelievable. So you had him, you have Hutch coming on the other side, the pocket's collapsing, Aleem McNeil, and for like 2 games, seriously, we were like, this is crazy. And then it's over. And it's like, okay. So when it is framed as up to $4.75 million, that typically means it's full of incentives. And given that Davenport did not play much last year, and most incentives will fall under not likely to be earned and won't count against the 2025 salary cap, when more information is contract out, we'll update this post. So also known as, this is fine, bring him back. It's like a minimum. And if he plays and things go well, then it's like, all right, cool. If we're not counting on him though, right? That's where it's at, because ultimately what you're counting on in this defensive end situation is the draft picks. You look at it here, you can see past draft picks. We have just not drafted defensive end. Corner last year, the epic 2023 draft. No defensive ends. There's Hutch, legend. James Houston in that same draft had a couple good games. We thought maybe he could do something. Of course, that's a lot to ask for a 6th-round guy out of Jackson State, right? So look at these drafts. I mean, even before Julian Okwara, are you kidding me? Like, even before Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, just defensive end. Josh Paschal says edge, but we know that he's not your pure pass rusher. I've missed him. So this is where it's got to be, because free agent-wise, just aren't available. Myles Garrett, we got to trade for him. There's guys that you can trade for. Free agency-wise, there's some options, but it really comes down to we need to spend the draft capital on these guys right here. Abdul Carter, James Pierce, they won't be there. I've seen Stewart come to us. I've seen Williams possibly fall into the 20s. Mike Green is all over the place because there's some off-field things. Green's calling card as an NFL edge rusher will be his explosive first step and sophisticated rush plan that keeps tackles off balance. 6'3", 250, love it. Jack Sawyer, I mean, I don't know, just because I'm a Michigan fan, I'm like, is he even that good? I don't know. He's probably not bad, but just because I'm a Michigan fan, I'm like, he sucks. But I think he's not that good. I really do. So Scorton, out of control. Like, this dude put up some numbers at the combine that were crazy. Josiah Stewart, we know him well. There is a lot of good. And so you look at this. There's 12 defensive ends. In my mind, every defensive end's awesome, and they're going to be great. And that's not true, obviously. But 4 of these guys are. 4 of these 12. Abdul Carter's probably going to be pretty good. James Pierce. A couple that you think are going to be good aren't. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, this is it, Brad Holmes. Like, you got to get us a defensive end in the draft. You just really do. And again, when you look at our picks, first and second, use this first 28 to get a defensive end. They've got us with Scorton right here, defensive lineman Walker after that, because remember, Aleem McNeil's out. It's like, oh, man. Aleem McNeil is going to be out for, I think, most of the year, right? Because that injury he had was towards the end of the season. So if you're a Lions fan, you're pumped for a couple reasons. We have offensively loaded with talent. I was in Dick's today, and I'm looking at jerseys, and I'm just looking at all the different players, and it's like, we got like 15 star players. I mean, back in the Stafford, we had like Stafford, Megatron, Golden Tate, and Glover Quinn. We had like 4 for like ever. These Sam Laporte, I don't have to name them all, but it's like, okay, offensively, we are still stacked. We're good. Defensively, there's so many injured guys that are going to come back that we've like literally forgotten about, that we're just going to be middle of the pack defensively without even doing anything. Then you draft a defensive end. Enos Rakestraw plays better or plays really good. You know, we haven't seen him. Guys come back from injury and we're ready to rock and roll. Aleem McNeil comes back a little bit. Derek Barnes was re-signed. Rodrigo is like, okay, sweet. He's playing well, right? So there's things that we are really excited about and we can be really excited about, because defensively we're just be so much better. But just having our normal guys out there, it's going to be crazy. And another thing, this is an interesting article that I thought was good to talk about real quick on Davenport, just kind of shows it. So in 2024, he had the starting edge role, only played 2 games. With Davenport back in the fold, the Lions won't feel the pressure to force an addition of edge rusher in free agency. Still think we should, but I think we will. If the right player comes along at the right price, the Lions will do that. But draft impact, while the Lions' edge depth looks workable in 2025, all 4 players in the current 2 deep have contracts that expire after the 25 season. Hutch is expected to have his 5th-year option picked up, then receive a contract extension or both. But like we said, with no long-term solution at hand, the Lions must draft somebody this year, because we haven't. Simple. We just have not been drafting an edge rusher, and we saw in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, defensive line, offensive line. It's crazy. It's what it just comes down to that. It's crazy. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. And man, things are starting to heat up now. So we'll see all of you on the next one.